Hello and welcome. Episode 75, I think it is. Yep, episode 75. Just me and Dicko today. I've had a couple of weeks off, rugged up in Sydney and Melbourne. Pretty cold as the last nine of the US Open is on. Shocking weather. We don't know what's going to happen, but we'll have some live commentary throughout the show of what's happening. But firstly, a couple of weeks off, Dicko. What's been happening in the Dixon household?
Um, Glorious weekend. Like just the I'm a simple man, Thomas. The just well everything I could ask for, I sort of got on the weekend. I took the kids to the races. They were very well behaved. It was glorious. We had a Saturday winner at God's Carpet, Royal Sandown, the hillside, my favourite track in Australia. Caramel Thicky last night with the fire going. Slow day yesterday with the kids. We won on the punt for the week. Just little things, the little
It's
things.
good.
There was no Swans games to trigger me. To be honest, I've dropped right off the footy. Sort of just recharging for this weekend, which I think
Just
will
for the
be a big
week.
one. And it's it's been very very enjoyable to watch the golf because of this. I think maybe because the course is so hard, they start early enough that you can catch like an hour or two at night, and then they go long enough that you can catch 4 or 5 hours in the morning.
Oh,
And
Scotty
things
just
just
misses the
roll
birdie
and
putt.
run past. But the good news is, big Callaway man Sam Burns has pulled his approach. He's third into the par five, and he's out of some thick shit. So
Yeah, he just chipped it on. He's got a tough putt for par.
it looks like a little leaker.
Mm.
Um, yeah, life's good. Where are you at? Are we favourite to be playing footy on the weekend?
Yeah, short favourite. I'll be backing us. Backing myself to play that. He's not backing the Swans.
We'll
Um,
clarify that one.
but yeah, it's been a good couple of weeks for me. I've come a long way in 2 weeks. Yeah, just improved. Sort of, they sort of said that once you get past oh, he's lipped out. Who was he's lipped out? Is that bogey?
Yep.
Um,
+1. There's a
+1,
five-way tie for the lead of the US Open in
and
horrendous conditions. If it
with
was like
what's
this, you can tell it's massive cash to be still playing.
yeah, bloody oath. But yeah, it's been a big couple of weeks. I went down last week to obviously would have seen me on the bench and was doing some coaching. Had a good session there. Ticked off about 7.5 Ks there, 8 Ks, and then
Really? Is that a PB for distance for you in the
yeah,
last sort of
yeah,
5 years?
yeah. So that's about my game distance. And then this week was good. Did another for 10 Ks, 10.5 Ks on Saturday, 11 Ks. So that sets me up for this week. Got to get through this week and yeah, hopefully push on to Port Adelaide. And yeah, we had a good session on Saturday. Fair few boys back and pretty much full strength squad training, except Brucey McDonald, who is obviously still coming back from an ankle. But yeah, it's exciting. It was good. It's just. I think being injured for so long, I've obviously been pretty lucky with injuries. Probably the last couple of years, I've had some injuries, but I think this is my longest one, probably 12, 13 weeks out. You take for granted how good we have it. I think training on Saturday, even just little things like just being out there with the boys, it's just that fun. You forget how lucky we are to play AFL and how good it is. Just running out there, kicking the footy. It's just what I love doing, and it was just that fun out there on Saturday. I've just missed it and really enjoy it. As
Adam
Scotty
Scott's
puts
made
one in,
par. He is tied for the lead in the US Open.
but
There's a person like you, I'd imagine even more than others. You just sort of you can't recreate the adrenaline and the buzz of like a really fierce training session. No, like I'd imagine for the park football, it's like the last sort of week of pre-season before the games start. That's how you'd be feeling. Right?
yeah, yeah. Well, even probably even more like if you're on a bloody away from footy, it's like I feel like I'm bloody a week out from Christmas sort of thing. I'm 9 years old, a week out for Christmas. I'm feeling pretty excited and just yeah, I just want to get out there as Scotty makes birdie, which puts him +3.
It's
But
not
yeah,
good
just
for
want to get
anyone
out there
that's
and
not good for anyone that's might have spent 5 minutes before the show getting second
yeah,
on Rahm at +4 clubhouse leader.
that hurts. But yeah, it's I'm just excited to be out there and get into it with the boys. It's yeah, there's nothing like sort of playing, so look forward to it.
Um, what was coaching? Well, not coaching, but what was being on the bench like? From my time around, you haven't done a lot of it. What'd you get out of it? What'd you learn? What were some insights that people might not see or notice? And is there a
Prob
future in sort of that sort of stuff for you?
I probably think probably what I've learned over the last sort of this year, I think probably the most I've sort of sat back and watched the boys, and because last year it was sort of back end of the year, and all my focus was on was getting back, and I was obviously very worried about getting back and making finals. So my sole focus was pretty selfish of me just getting back and getting my body right to play in those finals. But this year I sort of knew I was out for a long time, so it was how I could help the boys and even just help myself learn and grow as a player just by watching a lot more footy with sort of the coaches doing vision and things like that. I like to think I see the game pretty well anyway, but to help those boys on game day, see it live and show them some vision on the iPad of what I'm seeing and what they might not be able to see, which is very hard to do on ground. Like you don't realize how hard it is to see on ground versus on vision or up in the stands. Even watching on the bench compared to watching in the coaches' boxes is very different. You see a lot more. But yeah, overall, I think just you realise how hard the game is, and I think I can you take in what you've learned over these last sort of 12 weeks, and like on Saturday, I was more thinking about the roles and how as Scotty, oh, it's Burns
Scotty has just like hit the fat part of the
on it.
green,
That's
played more
Burns.
percentage stuff. He'll have like a 30-40 footer for birdie. Burns has gone at the hole and left it slightly short and is in thick rough.
But yeah, so I've taken a bit out of it, sort of just realised how hard it can be, and sort of a lot of sort of what I can take into the game that I've learnt, that looking up from the stands that you see, you can sort of take that into the game now.
Can you give some insight into something you might be working on or saw that you might use?
I think probably more just around what we need, like with the ball in certain areas. So I've noticed, like I think the stats show as well, we kick outside 50 a lot from about 80 meters out, and we need to get that ball inside sort of 50 to 70 as every team does. I think if you look at every team, they want to get in that sort of 50 to 70 and then enter from there because you score, the stats show you score more often. You want to be more patient in that area. You don't want to play on as much. So when you get the ball in there, just thinking about that. But yeah, there's so many stats that you see when you're not playing, because when you're playing, you're sort of just focusing on the team stats, but you sort of deep dive when you're not playing and see what works as a player and what works as a team.
One of the last things I watched on 360 was John Longmire talking about that. What's the
The launch
terminology
pad,
they
yeah.
use?
We call it the gold zone. I think he was calling it a launch pad.
Launch pad. Yeah, the
Yeah,
launch pad. Now,
gold zone
bench
launch pad.
or stands, which do you prefer to get a grip on what's going on? Is the benefit to the ground, the interaction with the player, and the immediate feedback, the eyeball to eyeball, versus you get to see a lot more shape and
Yeah, I
data
think
from up the top?
yeah, like seeing everything obviously from up top is better, but I actually like being interacting with the players. I'm sort of a passionate sort of person, so I
Oh, are you?
get
A
up and
little bit.
about on the bench, and I think it's really important to be positive on the bench. You can't be negative. You've got to be positive as possible to give positive energy to the players. So when they run out back out in the field, so that's what I was really focused on. Always trying to pump them up, get up and about for good tackles, just little things to give them energy to go out back out in the field. So that was my focus, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was as much as I'd rather be out there. I really liked doing that.
Was there a difference in the way that the positive vibes were received? Like I'd imagine the crust would sort of give you like a double take, and other blokes, like a younger bloke, could really like just soak it all in, and then there might be like a Dane Rampy that's like, "Come on, mate, I'm good."
Yeah.
With the technology, I've always wondered this. Now you sparked it. You're using an iPad, I assume. I think you said. So is there like replays and content like just sucked in there instantly, or are you like watching it like I might watch racing.com if I miss the start of a race and just sliding it back with my finger to the point I want? Like how does it work?
So what happens is there's an iPad. We have an iPad. All coaches will have a laptop upstairs. We'll have two iPads downstairs. One with all the stats, contested possession, uncontested possession, tackles, you name it, every stat across the board. They'll
Free
light
kick
up
count on there?
free kick count on there.
That's my favourite
Um,
one.
that's usually pretty red, that one.
Yeah.
And then we have obviously when you're winning it, you're green, so we have a fair few indicators on there, um, and pressure and things like that. Then on the other iPad is sort of it's live, so you have behind the goals, at the ball, behind the goals the other end, and sort of a little bit back, so you can see sort of around the
Oh yeah.
contest.
So you pick
But
the camera you want to use to like show the thing you're
yeah,
talking about.
yeah. So if you sort of kick in, you want to show behind the goals, things like that, or like a in play or defense, how the
Yep.
defense moves, you want to show behind the goals. But then say a forward comes off, Monty in the box will say, clip that last 20 seconds for Will Hayward. I need to show him something. So then the IT guy will clip the last 20 seconds of that play, and then he'll link it to the iPad. And then when Will Hayward comes off, we'll click that, and I'll show him, do this. This is what happened. This is what their defenders are doing. This is what you've done. Do this, and then
Wow.
vice versa to like defense midfielders. If they're something in the stoppage or something in the centre bounce is really good as well. So they'll say, clip that last centre bounce, show Rowie to change shoulder and why when he comes off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty high tech stuff.
Um, any players that you've been surprised by that their grind and their progression through what's been a pretty trying period
Gus
from the
Sheldrick,
outside in?
actually.
Like you've been watching and
Yeah, I like the way Gus Sheldrick goes about it. Sort of he's worked on his game really, really hard and his defensive running and just fitness in general. And he's running across the ground really well. He's very connected and asking a lot of questions on the bench for a young player, which is key. So he's probably impressed me the most over the last sort of 6 weeks. I think he's been in there. He was really good as sub, and then he's sort of taken his spot. So um, yeah, he's really, really good. I think he's got a good future in the game, and sort of just yeah, he's sort of inside ball that can run both ways. There's not many of them these days, but you need at least one or two in each team. So he's definitely a good player in the future.
he's half blessed too. Is he a punter?
Punter, no.
Wouldn't mind having him in like the punters syndicate, eh? Like he shanks them and he hits blokes on the tits. You know what I mean? You need that sort of bloke around you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, that's all I've got for now for the Swans. We might just roll back to it because obviously we're both well, I certainly am ADHD operator, and I've got the US Open going at the same time. Back to the weekend. Jeez, it was glorious. Just very content and everything where you wanted. I think part of that was our like massive fill on Eyes on Ponies, and I just get a lot of satisfaction out of like you are all over it. You are on top of it. You're ready. You know what you're doing. You are focused, and our man P Rat is starting to sort of shine, and it's a real team effort. And geez, I got a lot of enjoyment out of it. What did you think of the slide on the weekend and your performance, and then Praddy's?
Geez, as Scotty goes down the 14th, he's birdied this whole 3 days in a row. Um, yeah, Pratty was elite. I think
He's played. He's leaking this right
he's
again.
leaking this.
Bunkery. He's leaking them all. He's been. Oh, that could be right in the
Oh
face.
boy, have you seen Did you see what Scotty Scheffler did then? He had to come out right, and then he's hit it on the edge of the rough as well.
I missed that.
McIntyre, I reckon McIntyre could be the. Oh,
Well, he's
no, there's
Scottish. You know, this is like these filthy conditions. He thinks he's at home.
yeah.
It's a
Um,
real soul taker of a golf course, and if you look through the leaderboard, it's just like it's the blokes without
Geez,
souls.
that's a good shot.
Like Hovland would be smiling in the middle of World War. Adam Scott's just like clinical, just calm. Terrell Hatton, like he's sick as they get. He loves chaos. Anyway,
It's, yeah, where were we? We were at Praddy. Yeah, I think P-Rat was elite in the multis. We as for the listeners, P-Rat's our multi filler. We'll put up the bets and he'll create multis. I think we won, geez, at least or 15 units on multis, I reckon. So shout out to P-Rat, full credit. I was poor. I sort of got what did I do? One unit each way on DriftNet, but
yeah,
I
but
sort of
you
wanted the
you you read the track as it like normally would play, and it didn't play as you thought. Is
yeah.
that correct?
Yeah, so I read the track as rails in run, and actually wasn't too bad. Rails in run, it was pretty fair, sort of in run. Um, but because it was fair, it sort of opened up a few other horses that I was against, and I pivoted throughout the day, which was nice, and sort of landed on a couple. But you can't do that for the family. So yeah, I was sort of made a few mistakes early on, but yeah, I think you boys saved me. You hit 2.5 uniter,
Spawn's just sunk
just
another
drained one.
monster. That's back. He hit a monster on 12, and he's just hit a monster on 14. And he is now the leader by one at even par.
It's big.
GG.
But you boys saved me. You hit 2.5 uniter on
Well,
Herail.
I I take obviously some of the credit as I always will, but I got to give a lot of it to D Moore buckets. I mean, if that man did not put that horse Terrell into the race, it does not win. Despite being the right horse in the right race, the leader ended up giving a significant kick. And if he wasn't just tucked up behind it, I don't think we win. So I'd like to thank him. And on behalf of everyone who follows the slide, you need to be grateful for the ride that D Moore gave Terra Lee. It really set us up and gave us a good start to our day. And kicked off, I think it was in all the multis just about.
Yep. And then P Rat hits 2 uniter at the Sprinkler, Morphettville, which was very nice.
I said to him, I said, listen, mate, you got to be very careful of the unlucky run. Like, I know you backed at last start and it probably should have, could have won, but it didn't, Michael. And he said, no, 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 rule number 3, mate. It's your rules. Listen to your own rules. I'm backing it. And I said, well, you've gone so firmly, I'm not going to get in your way. And he backed it, and it was a flary big bet, and he delivered. So he didn't just hit the multis, he also hit like a big sort of 11 unit play. He's in charge of Adelaide. He's responsible for it, I think, Tom, when it wins. He's not ready to sort of take full responsibility for the losses.
Yeah.
But we'll give it to him. And one of the great sets from Michael. He's up and about.
This is big McIntyre. This is massive. 30, 2 over with 2 to 3 to play. He's left it short.
He's pulled it a bit, I think.
Pulled it a bit.
Tuggy.
But yeah, he's been good, P Rat. He'll keep going with the multis.
What happened to
Out
Get a
of
Fix? It was in.
yeah,
Now
get
it's
a
out.
fix. Yeah, was
Not
in.
not out. But like I remember seeing it in. It might have been in like the stylish race or.
Yeah, it was Barry 15. Never a chance. Needs everything to be right. That horse. We'll go this week. Randwick suits better anyway, in my opinion. The trial, it was pretty fresh in the trial early, then hit the line very nicely. He's a horse. He's a horse they reckon that trains the house down, but when he gets on the track, he's pathetic. So trains. What's he saying? Trains like Tarzan, plays like Jane.
So like the reverse of you.
Yeah. Um, I'm a good trainer. Just maybe when I'm kicking the footy, I'm alright. When I'm doing the weights and stuff, I'm probably not the best, but but yeah, next week, Randwick. I think it's meant to be very nice this week here, so probably a good track at Randwick, fair track, and see how we go.
But we want rain for Get a Fix, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
The rain just isn't sort of coming consistently, is it?
No,
Or it pisses down when it does.
yeah. Probably Black Book is out of the meeting. Which this horse, I actually um, reviewed the Randwick meeting 2 weeks ago yesterday because I didn't have time last week in the buy,
Oh
and
wow,
I black.
wow, man!
Oh
Sandown has
wow,
just hit a
Burns.
fucking pearl out of a divot. Full credit to him.
Oh, that's nice. And this horse, Gemologist, it was 1100 meters and really got going late two back at Randwick, like savaged the line two back. And I've rode in the because I actually didn't see the first 3 or 4 races at Rose Hill on the weekend, and I've rode on the notes uh, further suits Randwick, and it's backed up off 7 days. Um, Obviously, I had to look at the run, but I didn't really take as much note. And it's Savage the Line, $21 at Rose Hill off last, 14 7 day backups come third. I reckon back to Randwick, could even be further. This horse might be all right. So Gemologist out of the first race and Tassaray, we were on it, led 5 lengths quicker than the class. Dylan Gibbons went a bit too quick, led on its own and nothing led on the day and just missed by point 0.5 of a length or so. So keep an eye on that horse, slower tempo and should be hard to beat.
At the races on Saturday, Josh Cole Kavanagh had a data at Kieran Mark, a bloke I love, and I've been around him a long time. He's a big B Knock fan, Braith Knock.
Mate,
I said,
he's a
Josh, he's
gun.
sweet, and he said, yeah, no, seriously. So what do you think about that?
About Knock.
Mm.
Yeah, I reckon he's easily the best apprentice, easily. Righto, so the last 3 months for Braith Knock, 222 runners, strike rate of 20%. This is city runners up to $10, SP $10. So 222 runners, strike rate of 20%, place 46%, POT 33.6.
Wow.
He's making the most of uh, the big boys not being there as they do the apprentices this time of year. But Braithnock is very, very good. I reckon about in the summer, I spoke to Kieran and he's obviously, I think he's in on the board of the Jockeys Trust or something like that, and he was winning too much in town um, early on. So I don't know you might know a bit more than me, but he wanted him to go back to the country so he could still keep his claim for
Yeah,
like
so they
this time.
write out a claim. So, like, he's good value in the bush, and then he's good value in the provincials. So, like, I don't know, top of my head, to be honest, and I should off the top of my head, but I don't. Logan Bates gets 3 kilos on a Saturday, and he might get like 1.5 or 2 or 1 at,
Yeah,
Seymour on Thursday.
yeah, yeah. And then I think he wanted him to have his claim for this time of the year because like your J Max, your all these big boys go on holidays,
Because all the
or
smart
go to Queen.
stables are trying to, like, you lock into the good apprentice, and you're trying
Yeah,
to get them to ride your horse as often as you can on Saturdays because you're getting 3 kilos, and it's a big edge.
yeah. And Braithnock is definitely the one. I reckon the other one is actually might be Anna Roper. I'll just
Oh
check.
wow, it's been a wild ride for you and Anna.
Has been a wild ride. Let me check. Yeah, she's going. She's going at 11%. 270 runners, 11%. 2% POT. But for an apprentice, that's not too bad. But Braithnock's definitely the one you want to be.
All right, Braith in the Black Book, along with the horse that he rode there on
Gemologist.
Gemologist for
Tassa
MS
Ray.
Minervini.
Cadetta as well. Out to 1,300 meters at Randwick. Will be winning 3 wide no cover there in one of the races. Can't remember.
What was it called?
Cadetta.
Cadetta.
Yeah, 1,100 meters, 3 wide no cover. Not where you want to be at Rose Hill.
While we're talking ponies, do you want to roll on up to Eagle Farm?
Well, Sheffield's finished +4. Um,
Oh, he's bogeyed last.
yeah.
Shoddy.
Yeah, so we'll go to Eagle Farm. JJ Atkins, tough race to assess. Do you want to just touch on the Group 1s? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, it's not a lot to like about the winner, is there?
No, well, it's a bit of a tough race to assess early on. They're all coming from heavy tracks. You didn't know what they were going to do. And it was a good 3, so um, just sort of was too good in the end. Cool Archie. Hidden Achievement's the one that you want to be on, slow away and sort of back to the inside. Um, Out of the race, I reckon. But other than that, it's probably not.
1.2 seconds faster was Pierre, the import, winning the listed race 2 over the mile. So I don't think there's any stars amongst them. We backed the second horse. What'd you make of bloody Zebra Finch?
Mm, yeah, it was no good at all. Back to the inside. Not sure it was the good 3 jarring track but no good. Probably end of prep and back for the spring. But yeah, it was poor.
Self-interest was a little bit disappointed in Navy Pilot. We own the half brother. It's a half or a full or whatever to Tis Invincible Navy Pilot, so it's a proper page. We've got the 1-year-old about to become 2-year-old colt trained by Kieran. It's going good, so far.
Very good.
We pray. But
Always
yeah,
missed it.
this year's JJ Atkins, I don't think we're going to see, the class that has come through this race recently.
No, no way.
The race of the day in Australia, it was a Group 1, but it's a proper Group 1 number front and back. The Stradbroke 1,400 metre handicap War Machine, extremely well placed. 53 kilos is the caveat on the number. But boy, oh boy, wow, 380 into 320, no favours. I do think the inside was off, and it was in the right lanes, but it wasn't blessed in run at the same at all.
Yeah, it was what 3 wide cover and then.
And ridden like the best horse, exposed, there to be beat if something was good enough with a softer run. And I thought it was enormous. I think it's a really, really smart horse. Shout out to us who backed it first up off the good trials, Cotton King, Lindsay Bowles at Mornington, where it got beat. a stable change to Ben, Will, and JD Hayes, and yeah, it's gone and won a 1400 meter benchmark 100, then a 1350 Group 3, and now it's a 4-year-old gelding by Harry Angel that's a Group 1 winner. Importantly, Tommy, gelding, so we can expect War Machine to be of real relevance for the next 4 to 5 years.
Yep.
Question is, you own this horse, or you're part of the stable. What are you doing? Is it a 1200 meter horse? Is it a 600 meter horse? Are you waiting for the 1400 meter group races? It's tricky, eh?
Mm,
McIntyre birdies
mm.
17, and is now
Sorry.
tied second with Burns and Hatton. Scotty's 2 back now. We've missed a bogey.
It's an interesting one though, that the War Machine. Uh, it's obviously improved throughout the prep, um, and obviously a peak run on the weekend over 1400 meters. But another sort of time off in the paddock with Jack, like little rest, then come back um, for the spring with another sort of prep with the Hayes boys. It will go again. I think you probably have a stab at something first up over 1200 meters and see how you go. You reckon?
Well, they're going to get
And
asked for an Everest slot, I'd say.
mm, but and then sort of if you go for an Everest, you miss out on a lot of races as well, don't you? That's the thing.
Very, very
You,
tricky. It's a super talented horse, in my opinion, and like everything that they get, they improve,
mm,
or the majority of. We had a horse first up for them, Katsu, PB for the horse. We had Get Along last week in Sydney, PB for the horse. Like they're improving horses off everyone. You'd imagine that it's favourite to get stronger and bigger as it becomes a 5-year-old and it has a spell and prep on the farm.
yeah, be interesting. It's also like, what do you got? King Rising, Burasa.
Yeah,
What
well,
else is
I was
there?
going to say that. I think it's got a huge number, Moonee Valley 1200, but the family, the dad, David, has the favourite for the Everest.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like if Kieran trained this or Waller trained this, I think it's way more likely to run in an Everest than because they train it.
yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
But a seriously good horse. I think their other horse is going to be sneaky okay too. Rise at Dawn. I think it's a mile plus horse. It's by a staying stallion, and I think it just wants tempo. Like it's the horse that kicked Just Folks' head in at Flemington that day off a brutal speed, and it went to the All Star Mile off a very slow speed and failed.
Mm,
Um, I think they're both really, really exciting. The other horse that's interesting to me, and I want to see what you say, is Private Eye. Solid.
yeah, first up, I think Pride. It's an interesting one. He's sort of changed. Like, is it a? I think it's a. Like, you look back, you go first up last prep Everest, and he's 1.6 lengths off Valenipatina, and goes first up here, 1400 meters, and sort of was pretty good. It's an interesting sort of. What way do you go with that horse? Look, it's just yeah, I don't know. I'm not the best with this stuff. It's bloody 43 starts, an old timer, cost nothing. It's won you what?
Zillions.
Zillions. It's cost 60,000, I reckon I've seen on the weekend. But yeah, it's just an old timer, has a crack. Can do anything with it really. You just what would you do?
I'd sharpen it up and run it over 1200 metres.
Mm,
I think it was pretty plain late
yeah.
for the level of horse it is. So it's gone. But they've gone like a genuine clip, like 10-6 from the 12, 10-8-8, 11-6-6,
Mm,
11-2-8, 11-6-6, and then a 12-5-2 home. The winners are 12-3-2 home, but it doesn't scream to me, hey, let's go to a mile. It says, let's freshen you up and get you to 1200.
yeah. I think if you look at its numbers of 1100 to 1300, the peak runs are sort of at those distances.
Let's
Yeah,
let's look
so
let's look at the Golden Eagle from last year and talk about it as a form reference, Tom.
righto, look at the Golden Eagle race 2024. Now there's Lazura that's come at second, that's gone and won a stakes race overseas. So that's another one you can add to the list. But this is Group Ones. Tom Kitten, Group One, third in the race. All Star Mile, one. Steffi Magnetica, Doncaster Mile was fifth in the race. Port Lockroy, has gone over to Perth, and won Railway Stakes. Jolly Star, two-time Group Winner since then. Kings Newmarket and Kingston Smith Cup, and War Machine on the weekend straighty. Skybird as well, which come ninth in the race. Black Caviar Lightning Stakes. So it's going to be interesting this year if this race can produce some more runners out of the 2025 Golden Eagle. But it's a massive form race. I think anything going to that, you can look for it in the future and see how it runs up next
It's
year.
like a mini Cox Plate. If there's a better
Mm.
form race out there, let us know in the comments. I'd be interested, very interested. Won't look myself, but I will look if you tell me. That's enormous.
Big and fat.
Cricket, we saw like a. Firstly, let's address the elephant in the room. Shout out to whoever runs cricket, because I don't know. I'm assuming there was other people like me that just were like drooling at the thought of just a bit of cricket when the kids went to bed, and then spent an hour trying to figure out where it was and why wasn't on Channel 7, and then why was it on Foxtel, and then asking a group of friends to only be triggered and annoyed by the oldest, whitest bloke in the chat, Butch Bourne, just giving like misleading information and sending particularly myself and Mick Gannon down a rabbit hole, to eventually find that it was on Prime, and Prime only, streamed. I think that's not on, but you do you. What do you think of the game? What do you think of the boys? Probably
It
good for cricket.
was, yeah. I think it is. I think it's like good for South Africa and good that just as another sort of country that can match it with the Aussies. Obviously, they got the conditions. They won the toss and bowled, which probably won in the game really, um, because that pitch flattened out. As you seen late in our second innings, like Stark and Hazelwood are making runs, so you assume that pitch flattened right out for their batters. And as you've seen, they just whacked our bowlers around the park and did it easy in the end by 5 wickets. Yeah, I reckon it's good for cricket. I think for us, good little wake up call, I reckon. Get us going for the summer, the Ashes. Um, and yeah, I reckon they got West Indies, so I reckon the I reckon there'll be a few changes. West Indies, Constas will come in to open. I reckon maybe Inglis might even have a crack. It'd be interesting to see what they give those boys. Inglis is a good player of spin. You'd assume that they'll be turning decks over there. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Interesting to see what the team does. I'll be keen to see Constas over there and see how it can go, and hopefully get some runs overseas and then come make some runs in the Ashes.
Were you aware of the slope at Lords?
Yeah, I've heard the slope.
Jeez, they did that to death, didn't they?
Yeah,
The only thing they did more to death is, and this might be a controversial take, but it's my opinion, and it is Origin time. But Matthew Hayden just fries me. Um, Commentate the cricket, Matthew. You don't need to give advice to youngsters like 24/7. No one's watch. It's fucking like midnight in Australia, mate. There's no youngsters watching. Firstly, and like it's cricket. We don't need relentless coaching to youngsters about cricket. And that fucking hat is ridiculous. I'm a big fan of wearing flary hats as a bit of a piss take. I do it a lot, but I'm not on like TV hosting the cricket. You know what I mean?
yeah.
What do you think of that hat, and what do you think of Haydos?
I actually thought it looked a bit like you going to the races to start. Uh, um, it's yeah, it's an interesting one. Um, Big Hados. But yeah, uh, he is a bit of a. He does carry on a bit, but it's Hados. He can get away with the big thick boy.
He's a big, thick boy. Man of God. Yeah, right. That's cricket. Let's head to Sandown. Back to the racing. Very, very good track again. Royal Sandown. On pace advantage. Inside was best. But, you know, they could run on and win. I thought it was a great day's racing. I love Sandown. As we spoke about earlier, God bless you, Daniel Moore and Tara Lee, that just kicked us off in the right way. Shout out to the Cotton King, Lindsay Bowles, laid win place, the favourite in race 1, which is a lovely way to kick off the day too. And particularly the, like he found like roughies, one of them ran third. But again, you know, we underestimated the Lindsay Park horse, gelded, that improved again. They are airborne. Until Valhalla, Josh Cadlick Kavanagh, my man. Our first winter on track together. We're so tight that we decided to wear the exact same jacket, which was would have been a setback if anyone else was doing it, but we were matching. Logan Bates, what a human, what a jockey, what a ride. Until
Speaking of apprentices, he's your favourite down there, isn't he?
Massively, like by a long way. I try and get him on everything. At the moment, he gets 3 kilos off that horse, and he gave it the best ride in the race. Like he lost on he rode aha, and it lost, but it was he gave it a peach.
Yeah, couldn't do it as well.
So
That horse was end of prep for that horse, you reckon?
yeah, I think end of prep, and
Was eighth up.
like I said in the pricing that I provide to my clients, I'm very wary of a horse off a complete PR.
And a
You
big
know?
peak run. Eighth
Yeah.
up.
Because you're sort of paying the price for it winning well, but it won well because everything went right, and not just that it was going to get a good run, it was also set up to have the great run. The form was right. Terry Lee backed it up. Then the race 2. But yeah, I think he's comfortably the best apprentice in Victoria by a significant way. I think he's got a big future ahead of him, and it was extremely rewarding. Like I was talking about at the start of the show, like the boys who were in Until Valhalla, she was the first horse we ever bought at Mailbag Bloodstock. She was a $400,000 yearling, roughly. I went to the sales.
So that was the first horse you ever bought, as in from the sales, from yearlings.
First horse. They didn't have
Really?
a horse, right?
Fuck.
Went to the Magics. Sweating, a bit younger then too, Tom. It's probably glad that we weren't tight back then. I was really over racing. It was tough, it was grindy, and they rocked up, the boys, and they were like, "Go show us the best horse at the sale you think, or your favourite horse." And I went and showed them her. She was a Schnitzel filly, half sister to a Group 1 winner that I can't remember its name right now, but I've got a really fat pedigree. And she just moved like an Adonis, and if you see the photos of her, it's probably on my Instagram eventually this week. She's just a beautiful, beautiful shape of a horse. But anyway, you try and buy a few, and it's just depressing, when you're tiny. And I left, went home, and I remember I was on the balcony of the Waves in Broadbeach, just having a goat can, probably an analog cigarette back then, by myself, just sort of going, "Fuck, this is hard." And Heath Kelly rang me and said, "We've just bought you that horse, or we've just bought that horse. It's going to be the flagship horse for the Mailbag Bloodstock." And she's promised a lot, done lots of nice things. Might have been the meeting fastest, everything at Hawkesbury first up, on debut. To get her to Melbourne and get a result with her was just fucking enormous. Very, very relieved and rewarding day. And I think the way she won, she can do more damage. She's going to get better when the tracks get wetter, if they ever do. And she's been up since fucking November or sometime. So you'd imagine next time she comes in, she's going to be even better.
As McIntyre puts it in for par, clubhouse leader.
Oh, Terrell's had a bed shit.
Yeah, and so's Burns, mate.
Oh, he's had a club. He's had a clubby. Oh, there we go. Look at him. He's abusing the grass.
And Burns has had a duff as well. Burns is gone.
Taken.
Burns
He's just yanked the towel off the caddy.
You'd love to be on Spaun or McIntyre.
You know what I'd
Scotty.
love to be on? Is I'd love it to be me and who would I want to play with? Imagine me and who's nice and loose? Me and John Daly versus you and Terrell Hatton. like Ambrose, but I'd just be ripping into both of you. Just wait. You'll explode first and wait for Terrell to just erupt. He hasn't got it out.
Oh my God, he's going to throw it. He's going to throw it.
So as it sits, Robert McIntyre's clubhouse leader at 1 over, Spaun for par.
Bangs it.
He goes to 17, the drivable par 4, tied for the lead at +1. Terrell Hatton's got a monster to try and salvage a par. Adam Scott 2 over with a little one for par, must make, and he's fucking missed it. He's pulled it.
Missed it. Fuck, pushed it.
Oh, that's it. Scotty's out. He goes to +3
3
with 15, 16, 17, and 18. 4 holes to play. He's 2 back. You'd think he can birdie 17, but he's going to need
And
to find it.
Hatton goes to +3. Hey, gee whiz, that Rahm bet wasn't too far away. All them blokes +3. They'll have another bogey. Rahm's going to come top three.
Yeah, but as we started, you bloody said McIntyre's sneaky.
Mm,
Terrell's chipped from the
that was the
fringe.
bet. McIntyre. I wonder what McIntyre was when I put that on.
Oh, one of the great chips from Terrell. Like, that's what I mean. This bloke has no soul. He's just had a complete tantrum on a golf course, then wedged like that.
Hovland for par. Gee whiz, I can't believe
16.
McIntyre.
So he'll go to 17. Drivable par 4. Oh, Scotty.
Righto. Where are we?
Ooh. We were interrupted by my gorgeous 4-year-old daughter, Lenny Lou. She came in. She loves Paps, and Paps loves Lenny. And there was such a look in her eye of like, where's my video on Saturday morning when I had to get you or Crust to help me coach my son into not trying to kick torps at Auskick and just focus on getting the ball to spin backwards. I think we were talking about maybe Valhalla, so we've sort of probably done that. That's race 5 at Royal Sandown, God's Carpet. I thought that Aztec State won race 6. First up, no intent, can't ride the horse to Scotty's pushed one here. Into thick wilderness shit. You know, in a different universe, man, this bloke wins this, and he would have won the Open twice, just about. It's going to be a tough edit and a very tough edit for Praddy, and probably a tough listen for you guys as we vary all over sport here in this week's edition of the Early Crow. But we're doing our best. Aztec State Paps returned, ran enormous in race 6. It was winning from like
big
700, ridden cold, ridden up the inside. Really, really strong win. The sectionals and acceleration from this horse fresh. 12.36 from the 1200, 12.16, 11.62, 11.02, 10.92. Then a 12.08 home, but the race was over by then. Very, very nice return. A group horse in the making. Where and what they do with this horse is going to be a lot of thought go into it. He's a 4-year-old gelding owned by Yulong. I don't know where they go or what they do, but you'd assume prize money's the priority, and he's a very, very nice horse.
Spaun, he's about to drive. Croxy's on Spaun at good odds at the start of the tournament.
Croc's about to get a significant amount of lead in the pencil because
oh my God.
He's driven the green on 17. He has 2 putts to go up 18 with a 1-shot lead. Race 7, Spaun, best performance of its life. Really good. Really, really good. Ran on, back and wide. Genuine tempo. Not big margins, but a genuine enough tempo. Very disappointed in Windstorm. Given an absolute peach PR by Dean Yendall. Loomed, thought we were winning at about the 250. I gave it a significant roar. Flattening. I thought Lavish Thinker was not given a great ride. Milford, very bad ride. Forgive it. We trust the MILF. And we move forward. Spaun, really nice horse. Ellswood flying. Sati building. But, don't know. Race 8, Katsu, baby. The fastest time Katsu has gone from A to B over 1,000 metres in his life.
Really?
Really. With 60 kgs on his back, if you don't mind. A little bit of wind assistance, no doubt. But very, very, very happy with his return. Love the fight he showed in the last little stretch to beat Manalo Bling. This is a race where, for the majority of the Early Crow, and if you listen to me on the mailbag, I don't obsess about weight. I don't think it's overly relevant. But the winner had an 8 kilo swing, or 8 kilos, not a swing, 8 kilos less than Katsu. The third horse had 7 kilos less. As happy as I could probably ever be getting beat. First up, a tried horse. You want to see that they want to be a racehorse. So for him to cover ground as fast as he ever has and travel like that and fight like that to beat the other horses, he gave the winner 8 kilos. He gave a third horse 7 kilos, and it was. I saw Mrs. Ridgway, as Tom refers to her, before the race, and she
Sue.
was Sue. I know it's Sue Ridgway, but I call her Mrs. Ridgway. She's a very classy woman, and she was very polite beforehand and very gracious in afterwards when she beat us. So full credit to them. Full credit to Schwinkay. And Rose Hammond, who rode her, I think, probably first Metro winner I can remember, probably is ever. 1200 back to 1,000, probably is a 1,000 metre horse. Very strong win, great ride. Rose Hammond, full credit to him. And then in the last race, well, there's not a lot to talk about other than the job that Gavin's done with Hughes is proper. Completely grabbed me up once at the races about a month ago, saying it might be over
Remember,
the top.
remember we backed it?
Oh yeah, Hughes and Spaun. They've both gone on a one on the same day twice since costing us like house deposits. So I have less hatred towards Hughes than I do Spaun, but like it's run a big number. It's just stepped up through the grades. Logan Bates carried 51 kilos in a very strong race, but was very good. Run Harry Run's the horse that interests me as another horse that they've improved. This horse has run 2 big fat numbers now back to back, first and second up in a prep. He's ready to win a good race. That's Run Harry Run. As I said, they just keep improving him. They'll improve the horse that I bought on Wednesday, which is Sunsets, Jono, Jono, at themailbag.com.au. If you want to come and race Sunsets with me, Ben, Will, and JDAs. AFL and NRL.
Yep. Doggies looked very, very good. Back to their best with big Sam Darcy. He's going to be a generational player, this bloke. 3 goals, 20 touches, 8 weeks off, I think, for a 20-year-old is just extraordinary. He's too big, just moved too well. He's got everything. His pace, height, strength. He's only going to get better. And yeah, they've got a bright future there with him. St Kilda disappointing.
Did you say that?
Yes, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
Victor. The
Victor
enforcer.
just goes bang. Yeah, Saints were disappointing, but they can definitely play better than what they did. Hawks v Crows now Tassie. They've been in the media everywhere as Hatton just is he's
Trying
about
to.
to snap a
Oh, he
club.
snapped another one, yeah.
I think it was 4 degrees down in Tassie there.
Was it?
Yeah, it was fog. Players were breathing like when you
Yeah, yeah. Like horses at track work.
yeah. Yeah, it just goes to show they need a roof on that joint. Otherwise, I think it was like 10 goals, like 60 points each.
The scoring's
Just
got lower. You notice that?
yeah, depends on weather.
Oh, he
Weather.
rolled the eyes. If you're just listening to this on the podcast, he rolled the eyes. It wasn't an attack on you, mate, or the AFL playing group, but the scores have been a bit lower, I thought.
It just goes to show the defense is better.
Yep. Okay. Cadman
Um,
kick 5 for the Giants in a massive win. Is it a
big
bit
big
of
wing.
a
No, I
sort of here I am from Cadman?
think yeah, he's been copping a fair bit, saying when is he going to sort of announce himself, but would have kicked 20 plus goals this year, I reckon, and definitely looks like he's going to um, take his career to the next level in the next coming years. With Jesse Hogan's there, they've got a good combo going. They won without Toby Green. They
Huge.
lost to Port Adelaide last week in Port, which is a tough ask. But to beat Lions at the Gabba is very, very good going. And yeah, when they're on, they're on. But they're sort of a bit inconsistent. But yeah, Giants definitely can make finals for sure.
Geelong too good. Killed him. Dot ball of
Yeah,
the game. I watched some of that. Might be
Jeremy Cameron was toying with them.
Saturday night.
Horny for
Now.
Eagle as Croc. Oh, oh, he's just missed it,
Oh,
but he'll tap that in for Bird.
there's a little
A
bit of
bit of
golf
chicken.
left in there. You wouldn't. It was not a gimme.
It's a bit of
Um,
chicken.
is it just the pies and cats basically? And then if you can get into the mixer and they get a couple of injuries, it's anyone's.
Mm. Yeah, I think Pies and Cats are definitely the two you've got to beat. Um, I think the Crows are thereabouts. They're going to be tough to beat in Adelaide,
Mm.
Adelaide Oval, so that's sort of their big advantage. The Doggies are up and going with Darcy again, Bond, Ed Richards. They'll be around abouts. Yeah, but I think yeah, Geelong and Collingwood are the main ones, and then I think Doggies can definitely go up the ranks as well.
Now the final game we'll talk about. You playing this week? Are you playing them in Adelaide?
Port Adelaide in Adelaide, yep.
or your favourite ground in football, and mine. If I was rich and had less responsibilities, I would come and watch. Port Adelaide played Melbourne yesterday, and I thought it was a good game of football. I watched about 15 minutes early, and you can just sort of tell that they're both there to play good footy. Port Adelaide not only won well, they also beat the curse that is Matty Punts. Full credit to them. They're going very good again.
Yeah, very good. As Spaun is going to the last with one shot lead. Um,
Croc.
Croxy's getting
Croc might
toey.
be sniffable.
Yeah, Port very good last 2 weeks. Georgiades kicked six on Stephen May, arguably the best defender in the league, and did very well. So,
He's
Tommy
big.
McCart,
Thick, eh?
Tom, Stephen May,
No,
George,
Georgiades.
Georgiades, good size,
Girthy.
good athlete.
Yeah.
Nah, he's not that girthy. Nah,
He
you're thinking
looks
of the wrong
like
bloke.
he looks dense.
Stephen May's girthy.
Yeah, but
He's thick and
Georgiades has got like it looks to me like he's got like a good half a foot on him.
yeah, he would. Tommy McCart will play on him this week, I assume, and have his work cut out. But Tommy's in some serious form in the last 5 weeks, so look forward to that matchup.
Tommy McCartan's a fucking Matthew Richardson sized height giant. Now,
Yeah.
question off topic. Max Gawn and Stephen May going at it after that game last week. What was your take on that? And Jesus Christ, didn't the media just try and
No.
just pick at the bones of it to try and get some juice?
Oh, Scotty, mate. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I think probably I don't even know what was said, but it'd be interesting to see what was actually said. Um,
How
because who
common is that
knows?
sort of stuff in football that doesn't get like caught and reported on?
Yeah, I wouldn't. Oh, yeah, on the ground, I reckon he probably like May probably would have been like, geez, I should have probably waited for the rooms.
Mm.
But then Max, obviously, he overreacted and was still fiery. Like it's just two blokes that are wanting to win. Like it's like at least they care. At least they care about wanting to get better and wanting to win and wanting to care for the club. Like that's footy. That happens all the time.
I think as a Melbourne supporter, you would have loved it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, but yeah, like it's footy. It's what happens all the time. I think you just see less of it on the ground. And I think in the rooms, there probably would have been something said in the rooms as a team, behind closed doors rather than out in the field. And they're probably both regretting the way they reacted, I would say. But to be honest, like who cares? Like is what it is.
Spawn has just teed up on
Hyped
18,
one
and
down the middle.
it looks like a perler, and it is right in the guts.
Oh, Croxy. Wonder what he's got on it.
Crocky is sniffable. State of Origin, is it this Wednesday? Is it 2 days away?
Yep,
Perth?
Perth. I'm 13 plus. New South Wales. It's just better than the week.
Really?
Yep.
What do you
Mate,
think
I reckon it's
about
got.
Billy Slater? Like, it's very. I've talked about this on our show. I reckon we never pick and stick in New South Wales, and it's always been to our detriment. I felt, and Queensland always just stick fat. So like Dane Gagai would be average for Newcastle. He'd play Origin and he'd play like the greatest centre in the world.
Mm.
They've got rid of DC, their captain and halfback, panicking.
You got to do something though. You can't keep the same team. But I think this is the time where New South Wales go out of the pain that they've received over the last 10 years. This is where they need to cash in. They've got the best team for a very, very long time, New South Wales, and they need to cash in. Yeah, they got an out, but like Jerome is waxes with Cleary. Yes, he's left, but they've got a great combo. I'm yeah very keen 13 plus.
I love it. All right.
New South Wales never lost in Perth. Haven't
Yeah.
played much, but never
Yeah, no,
lost.
but they got it's faster and more. Might go 13 plus in the overs.
Mm.
High scoring Origin too. All
Yeah.
right, I reckon that's been the early Crow episode 75. Brought to you by no one. Inbox us on Instagram if you
Yeah.
want to get involved.
Slide in.
We'll be back on Saturday with a slide covering the weekend's pony action. It's called Eyes on Ponies. We've turned up for units, and I'm telling you now, we've $1.30 to hit 200 plus before we hit zero. Confident, boys are humming. P-Rat's starting to get a bit of flow to his multi-work. Tom and I a chance to be part of the mailbag preview on roughly Thursday. We never sort of know what we're doing, who's doing it. And that's probably it. Stack of horses purchased last week, tried horses. So Sunsets heads to Lindsay Park, Euroa, to be trained by the brothers who are airborne.
Sunsets with McAvoy, was it?
Sorry?
Was Sunsets with McAvoy?
Bussett and Young.
Bussett and Young.
Ran third in the Derby behind Riff Rocket.
Yeah.
Won a Group 3 at Caulfield itself. Bought Ghazi, 2-start Owlman Zor, gelding, 3-year-old off Graham Begg, heads to Michael Hickmont. Really, really excited about that horse. I think it's extremely good value. And there's 2 horses that the names escape me. Artie Lady's one of them, and another one. One heads to Cody Morgan and one heads to Matty Dunn. Mickey Gannon, our man, your man.
Morgan.
Running those horses up there. So if you want to get involved in a horse with us, jono, at themailbag.com.au, and have a phenomenal week. Gamble responsibly. Visit the website or ring the number if gambling is a problem for you. Bye.
Bye for now.